Las Vegas Motor Speedway just delivered two of the most talked-about storylines of the entire 2026 NASCAR season, and neither of them ended when the checkered flag dropped. One involves a veteran driver who made a mistake, got penalized, and still found a way to win. The other involves a health situation serious enough to sideline one of the sport's recognizable names for at least a month, and the replacement decision that JR Motorsports made in response is already turning heads heading into one of the most demanding weekends on the calendar. These two stories are not just interesting on their own. Together, they say something real about how elite NASCAR organizations operate when things don't go according to plan. Week 5 of the Cup Series season brought Denny Hamlin and the number 11 team to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and by the time everything was settled, Hamlin had a win. But the headline does not tell the full story of what actually happened on that racetrack, and the details matter. Hamlin caught a speeding penalty on pit road mid-race, not exactly the kind of moment a championship contender wants in the middle of a strong run. What made it more significant was how Hamlin addressed it afterward. On his Actions Detrimental podcast, Hamlin explained that he was doing exactly what his team told him to do, running his pit lane lights as instructed, and was genuinely caught off guard when the penalty came down. "I was running my pit lane lights, doing exactly what the team asked," Denny Hamlin, Actions Detrimental podcast. That statement carries real weight. If the driver executed the plan correctly and still got penalized, then the problem was in the team's calculation, not the driver's execution. Hamlin identified two possible explanations for what went wrong. Either the distance between the timing lines was miscalculated by the team, or NASCAR was measuring and scoring that specific section of pit road differently than the team had anticipated. He also pointed out that if multiple drivers were collecting speeding penalties in the same zone during the same race, that particular segment of pit road was running hotter than most teams had planned for. That kind of systematic issue is not something one driver can solve in real time. It requires the team to adjust, and in this case, the adjustment came too late. The recovery that followed, however, is where the real story begins. Within roughly 15 laps of returning to the track after the penalty, Hamlin had already climbed approximately 10 positions. That number is not just impressive from a pace standpoint, it signals something about where his head was during those laps. A younger driver in that position, or a less experienced one, will frequently overstep. They try to recover too fast, push the car beyond what it can give, and either make a handling mistake or create unnecessary tire wear. Hamlin did none of that. He stayed measured, trusted the setup underneath him, and picked off positions one by one until the front of the field was within reach. The race changed in his favor not at the moment the deficit was erased on the leaderboard, but at the moment Hamlin recognized that the car was capable of making it happen. The playoff implications of this win are straightforward and significant. Denny Hamlin is now officially locked into the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. With that security in place, the number 11 team gains a strategic freedom that changes how they approach the rest of the regular season. Instead of managing points carefully every week and protecting their position, they can afford to try things, take risks on strategy, experiment with setups, focus on building the speed and consistency they will need when the playoff rounds begin. That is a meaningful shift in how a team operates from Sunday to Sunday. Through 5 weeks of the 2026 season, Hamlin sits fourth in the standings. The 3 drivers above him are Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, and Ryan Blaney. Reddick and Wallace are both 23XI Racing teammates, which means the organization as a whole is occupying 3 of the top 4 positions in the championship standings this early in the year. That is not a coincidence, it is a reflection of how well that program has been built and how well it is currently running. Now comes Darlington Raceway, and the timing could not be more pointed. Darlington is one of the few tracks in the sport that will find and expose every weakness a team carries into race weekend. The margins are tight, the concrete wall is close, and the track surface rewards precision while punishing anything sloppy. After a race at Las Vegas where the number 11 team made a notable error on pit road and still walked away with a win, Darlington becomes the first genuine test of whether this team's current form is as deep and durable as the results suggest. 3 weekends ago, Alex Bowman took himself out of the circuit of the America's Cup race. The reason, confirmed afterward, was vertigo. In the days that followed, his status was listed as day-to-day, with no certainty about when or whether he would return. That kind of open-ended timeline is difficult to plan around, and for a few weeks, both Phoenix and Las Vegas carried genuine question marks over his availability. The picture is now clearer, and it is more serious than many had initially hoped. Bowman has been officially ruled out for at least the next month. That absence covers Cup Series races and also includes this weekend's NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Darlington Raceway in the number 88 Chevrolet. Before discussing the replacement, it is worth stating plainly, vertigo is not a condition to take lightly in motorsport. Balance disruption, dizziness, and disorientation are dangerous for anyone, but inside a race car running at over 180 miles per hour, they are potentially catastrophic. The correct decision is to keep Bowman away from the car until he is completely recovered, not mostly recovered, not feeling better, but completely right. That is what this situation requires. With Bowman unavailable, JR Motorsports needed a replacement for the number 88 at Darlington. This is where the story gets genuinely interesting. The NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series recently expanded the number of allowed starts for full-time Cup Series drivers from 5 to 10. That rule change opened up a broader pool of eligible candidates from within the Hendrick Motorsports family. 3 names were immediately viable: William Byron, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson. The case for Byron was real. He had finished 13th in the series just 2 weeks earlier at Phoenix, and he carries a strong history at Darlington across prior seasons. The case for Elliott was equally credible. 2 of his last 3 O'Reilly Series starts came at Darlington specifically. He finished 4th in one and 2nd in the other. Those are strong results on a demanding track, and they would have made him a sensible choice. JR Motorsports went with Kyle Larson, and the reasoning holds up clearly when you lay the factors out. First, Larson had just won at Las Vegas. He walks into Darlington weekend carrying the momentum of a race winner, not someone trying to find his form. Second, and more specifically, Larson won the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Darlington in 2023. In that same year, he also won the Southern 500, the Cup Series race at Darlington. That combination of current form and specific track record makes him the most targeted choice available when you are asking a driver to step in on short notice at one of the hardest circuits in the sport. Now it is important to understand the full structure around the number 88 for the 2026 season, because this is not simply a story about one fill-in appearance. JR Motorsports named Raja Carrot as the car's primary driver for the season, replacing Trackhouse Racing Cup Series rookie Connor Zilisch. But Carrot's schedule covers only 23 of the 33 races on the calendar. The remaining 10 starts are divided among for Hendrick drivers. Byron gets 3 starts, Larson gets 3 starts, Bowman gets 2 starts, and Elliott gets 2 starts. This is a carefully constructed plan, not a patchwork solution. There is another layer to the Carrot situation that deserves attention. Carrot also signed a 10-race deal with Jordan Anderson Racing for the 2026 season. The reason is straightforward: without completing all 33 races, he would not qualify to compete for the O'Reilly Series Championship through the number 88 alone. The Jordan Anderson Racing deal fills that gap and keeps him in full championship contention across the entire season. This is not seat-filling for its own sake, it is a structured development plan designed to put a young driver in a position to compete for a title while managing his workload alongside established cup-level talent. Walking through the updated schedule makes the organization's planning clear. After Darlington, Carrot returns to the number 88 for 2 more races before Larson's next scheduled appearance. Larson's remaining starts in the car are scheduled for Bristol in April and Texas in May. Byron is set to drive the number 88 at Kansas in April and Pocono in June. Elliott does not have his scheduled starts until July, with appearances at Chicagoland and Indianapolis. As for Bowman, he is tentatively listed to return to the car at Nashville in late May, though that timeline depends entirely on the progress of his recovery. What JR Motorsports has done here is construct a real answer to an unexpected problem, and they did it without scrambling. They reached into their organizational depth, identified the most qualified driver available for this specific situation, and made the call. Kyle Larson in the number 88 at Darlington is not a placeholder story, it is a legitimate shot at a strong result, delivered by a program that knew exactly who to call and why. The connection between Hamlin's Las Vegas win and the JR Motorsports decision is not superficial. On one side, you have a veteran driver demonstrating that even when a team-level error occurs, experience and car speed are capable of covering the damage and delivering a win anyway. On the other side, you have an organization showing that genuine depth means having high-quality answers ready before circumstances force your hand, not after. 23XI Racing's position in all of this adds another dimension. With Reddick and Wallace sitting first and second in the standings and Hamlin fourth, the organization holds 3 of the top 4 spots in the Cup Series Championship through 5 weeks of racing. That is an organizational achievement, not just a collection of individual performances. Darlington brings all of it into focus this weekend. The track will compress the margin for error that Las Vegas allowed. The question is not whether Hamlin and the number 11 team can perform, they have already proven they can win even on an imperfect day. The question is whether that level of execution holds up when the track itself removes the room to recover. Meanwhile, Larson in the number 88, Carrots championship picture, and the broader Hendrick, 23XI dynamic that has been defining the early part of the season all converge at one of the most historically significant tracks in the sport. These are the kinds of stories that demonstrate how layered NASCAR really is at every level, not just the results, but the decisions, the health updates, the scheduling structures, and the organizational responses that determine what Sunday actually looks like. If you want to follow this sport at that level of detail every week, this channel is built for exactly that. Hit the like button, drop your thoughts on the Larson pick and the Bowman situation in the comments, and subscribe to NASCAR Nation Report. We are a brand new channel chasing our first 10,000 subscribers, and we are here every single week for the fans who genuinely live for this sport.